It's hard to miss Taylor Swift these days, isn't it? I mean, her impact is just monumental.
Absolutely. You really can't scroll online or listen to much without hearing about her.
Right, and it makes you wonder, what were those first steps? You know, the things
Yeah.
that really built this incredible career.
Exactly. What were the foundations? That's what we're digging into today.
We've been looking at the Wikipedia entry for her. It's incredibly detailed.
It really is. It covers everything from her childhood, those early musical interests, right up to her sound changing and, well, the business side of things too.
A real treasure trove of information. So our mission really is to sift through that and pull out the most interesting bits about those early years.
Yeah, the key moments, the decisions that sort of set her on this path to becoming, well, the global phenomenon she is now.
And for you listening, if you want that deep understanding without getting totally bogged down, that's what we're aiming for, an engaging look.
Okay, so where do we start? It's a lot to unpack.
Logically, I guess, her early life, back at the very beginning.
Right. Taylor Allison Swift, born December 13th, 1989, in West Reading, Pennsylvania.
And her family, her dad, Scott, a financial advisor, and mom, Andrea, who was a fund executive but then became a homemaker. And she has a younger brother, Austin. Yeah.
And what's kind of interesting is that early environment wasn't maybe typical suburbia.
No, you're right. They lived on a Christmas tree farm for a while.
Yeah, quite a picture, isn't it? Especially compared to now.
Definitely. But her first creative interest wasn't country music, was it?
No, not at all. It was musical theater. She was taking vocal and acting lessons, focusing on Broadway stuff.
That's fascinating. Do you think that theatrical background sort of fed into her later career, that performance aspect?
I think it almost certainly did. You know, developing that sense of story, of character, feels very central to her songwriting, even now.
Yeah, her songs are like little movies sometimes.
Totally. But then the big pivot came when she heard Shania Twain.
Ah, yes. That seems like a real turning point mentioned in the source.
It really does. Inspired by Shania, she started heading to Nashville. She was only about 11.
Trying to break into country music that young. Wow. But it wasn't smooth sailing initially.
No, definitely not. She got rejected at first.
Does the source say, like, what kind of feedback she got then? Or just rejection?
It mainly notes the rejections, which honestly highlights her persistence, right?
True, instead of giving up.
She doubled down, learned guitar at 12. Ronnie Creamer, a local musician, taught her.
And that's when she wrote her first song, Lucky You.
That's the one. Makes you wonder what that first song was actually like, doesn't it?
Lucky you!
Yeah.
No, kind of prophetic. So from there, she linked up with a manager in New York, Dan Dimtro.
And this phase included some interesting side gigs, not just music.
Like the Abercrombie and Fitch modeling, part of their Rising Stars thing.
Yeah, and having a song on a Maybelline compilation.
How do you think those experiences, sort of outside the pure country track, helped her? Broadened her view, maybe?
Well, yeah. Probably gave her a taste of the wider entertainment world. Marketing, branding, different audiences, you know.
Makes sense. And by 8th grade, she lands a development deal with RCA Records.
Which meant more Nashville trips. Things are getting serious.
Could you quickly explain, for anyone who doesn't know, what a development deal usually involves?
Sure. It's basically the label investing a bit, helping the artist record demos, work on their songs, kind of like a trial period. They see if there's potential before committing to a full album.
Gotcha. And her commitment was so clear that her dad actually moved his job to Nashville.
The whole family relocated to Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's huge.
It really is a massive vote of confidence from the family.
And to manage the schedule, she switched to homeschooling. Aaron Academy.
Which allowed her the flexibility she needed for, music stuff, travel.
Graduated a year early, too. Just shows that intense focus she had.
So all these early steps laid the groundwork, but Nashville songwriting, that seems like where things really started cooking.
Absolutely. That became the focus. Collaborating, learning the craft.
And the partnership with Liz Rose sounds like it was really important.
Yeah, the source highlights that. They had regular sessions after school.
What did Rose say about working with her back then?
She said Taylor had really clear visions for her songs and, amazing choruses already formed. Rose saw herself more as an editor.
Wow. So the raw talent was already obvious.
Seems like it. And around this time, she signs a publishing deal with Sony ATV.
But then leaves RCA Records at 14. Why?
That seems really key. The source says she wanted to make an album about her life then, while the feelings were fresh.
Didn't want to wait potentially years for a major label release.
Exactly. An urgency to connect with people her own age.
That shows incredible, artistic conviction for a teenager.
It really does. And then 2005, the Bluebird Cafe, Scott Borchetta sees her perform.
He was just starting Big Machine Records then, right? An independent label.
Yeah, they'd actually met briefly before. But maybe starting his own label made him more open to, a young artist with a clear vision.
Someone he could build the label around, perhaps?
Could be. And she became one of his first signings.
But it wasn't just a standard deal, was it? Her dad invested in Big Machine.
That's right. A significant investment, reportedly around $120,000.
How do you think that might have shaped things? That early financial tie?
Well, it suggests a really strong belief, obviously, and maybe gave her a bit more clout, a stronger sense of partnership within a new, smaller label setup.
Right. And speaking of having a say, she pushed for Nathan Chapman to produce her debut album.
Yeah, she clearly knew the sound she wanted.
What was it about Chapman? What drew her to him?
Well, his early stuff seemed to blend country with a more modern, pop-friendly vibe, which likely fit perfectly with what she was aiming for reaching that younger audience.
Okay, so all the pieces are falling into place. The album, Taylor Swift, comes out October 24, 2006.
And she co-wrote 8 of the 11 songs. Pretty impressive.
It really is. Critics called it a terrific little country pop record, but commercially, it was huge.
Phenomenal, really. Peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200. But the longevity.
157 weeks on the chart. The longest run for any album from the 2000s. Just incredible.
What do you think kept it there so long?
I think it was that mix, relatable songs for teens, smart promotion, maybe that authentic feel she had early on.
And sales matched. Over 7.75 million copies globally by 2016.
And that wasn't just label magic. There was real grassroots effort, especially for the first single, Tim McGraw.
Yeah, the story about her and her mom stuffing envelopes, sending CDs to radio.
Exactly, that kind of hustle. And she promoted hard all through 2006 radio, TV.
It shows an amazing work ethic, right?
Yeah.
And an understanding that making the music isn't enough. You got to get it out there.
For sure. And Borchetta apparently admitted signing a 16-year-old girl wasn't the obvious move in country music then.
But Taylor tapped into something specific.
That underserved market. Teenage girls who liked country.
Bingo. She found her audience. And the album kept spinning off hits.
Teardrops on My Guitar, Our Song, Picture to Burn, Should Have Said No.
And Our Song was a big milestone, wasn't it?
Huge. Made her the youngest person to write and sing a #1 country song all by herself.
Wow. Just wow.
And Teardrops crossed over too. Hit number 13 on the main Billboard Hot 100 chart, showing that broader potential early on.
So a busy time.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a holiday album in 2007, an EP in 2008.
Plus, relentless touring, fan meet and greets, opening for other artists. Must have been exhausting.
But it built that foundation, and the awards started rolling in.
Nashville Songwriters Association's Songwriter Artist of the Year, youngest ever, CMA Horizon Award, ACM Top New Female Vocalist, AMAs.
And a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist in 2008.
How much impact do you think those early awards had on her confidence, maybe?
Oh, immense validation, I'd imagine. Fueled the momentum, opened more doors.
Definitely. This period also included her brief relationship with Joe Jonas, which, later became song material.
Indeed. So she really established herself in country. But the next era, Fearless, that's where things really explode into the mainstream.
Yeah, Fearless, November 11, 2008.
And the lead single, Love Story, came out a bit before that. Huge hit.
Massive. Number 4 on the Hot 100, #1 in Australia. Her global reach was just taking off.
That crossover appeal was undeniable now. And Fearless had more huge singles.
White Horse, You Belong With Me, 15, the title track.
And You Belong With Me was maybe the biggest push into pop stardom yet.
Yeah. Peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100. The album itself debuted at number 1.
Best-selling album in the U.S. for 2009, she was officially a major player.
What was it about Fearless, do you think? Why did it connect so broadly?
Well, it just seemed to nail those universal teenage feelings, love, heartbreak, friendship, but made them sound like epic, anthemic.
And the sound was definitely leaning more pop, even with the country roots still there.
Widen the net. And then her first headlining tour, the Fearless Tour, huge success.
Grossed over $63 million. They even did a concert film, Journey to Fearless.
Keeping that fan connection strong. Plus, she was opening for massive artists like Keith Urban on his tour.
Right, the Escape Together World Tour, and she started branching out more too.
Like the acting debut in Hannah Montana, the movie.
Yeah, and she had 2 songs on that soundtrack, Seemed like a smart move, tapping into that Disney Channel audience.
Definitely broadened her image, Multi-talented entertainer.
Reaching beyond just the country listeners. And
Yeah.
then the 2009 MTV VMAs.
Ah, that VMAs moment, You Belong With Me, wins Best Female Video.
And Kanye West jumps on stage.
Yep, the interruption became this huge media thing, undeniably raised her profile, even if it wasn't planned that way.
Definitely put her right in the middle of the cultural conversation, but despite that awkwardness, she cleaned up at the American Music Awards later that year.
5 wins, including Artist of the Year and Favorite Country Album.
And Billboard named her Artist of 2009. Just a massive year for her.
Absolutely pivotal. And the album started getting serious critical nods, too. NPR put Fearless on their list of the 150 greatest albums made by women.
Wow. Number 99 shows it was seen as more than just a commercial hit.
Exactly. Cultural impact.
And then came the Grammys in 2010. Fearless dominated the country categories.
But also won Album of the Year, making her the youngest artist ever to win that at the time.
What did that Grammy win really signify, do you think?
Oh, that was the moment. Huge validation. It cemented her as a major force, period, not just in country.
Right. She also won Best Country Album, and White Horse won 2 Grammys.
Though her actual performance at that Grammy show, the duet with Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, that got some mixed reviews, didn't it?
It did. You wonder if that kind of critique, even amid all the success, maybe pushed her to explore different sounds later on.
Hard to say for sure, but it's possible. Still, the awards kept coming. Entertainer of the Year from the CMA, youngest ever. Again.
And Fearless won Album of the Year at the CMAs, too. Just sweeping everything.
And she wasn't just focused on her own stuff, she was collaborating quite a bit.
Yeah, background vocals on John Mayer's Half of My Heart.
Yeah.
Co-wrote and sang on Best Days of Your Life with Kelly Pickler.
Those Hannah Montana soundtrack songs again, You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home, and Crazier, she was everywhere.
Featured on that Boys Like Girls song, 2 is Better Than 1.
Her pop crossover was just becoming more and more obvious. And then Today was a fairy tale from the Valentine's Day movie soundtrack.
Her first #1 in Canada.
Right. And that movie ties into a few things. Her relationship with Taylor Lautner happened during filming.
And she acted in the movie, too.
Yeah.
Reviews were a bit mixed on her performance there.
She also did a guest spot on CSI. Seems like she was really trying different things.
Definitely exploring. But maybe the most surprising, in a good way, was hosting Saturday Night Live.
Yeah? People seemed genuinely impressed. What did that show about her?
Well, her comedic timing, Connecting with an audience live, but not through song. She hosted and performed.
And got good reviews for the hosting part? Showed another side?
This whole period also included her brief relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Which, again, fueled that intense media focus on her personal life. And as we know, often ended up inspiring more songs.
So, wrapping up this look at her early career, it's pretty incredible. From that Pennsylvania start,
The Christmas Tree Farm, to Chasing the Dream in Nashville.
we saw those key influences, like Shania Twain. Her own sheer persistence when things didn't click right away.
And that really crucial songwriting partnership with Liz Rose. Finding her voice.
And Scott Borchetta and Big Machine taking that early chance, giving her the platform.
Absolutely essential. And then Fearless just changed everything. Global superstardom.
What stands out is how much groundwork was laid in those early years. It wasn't overnight.
No way. The constant touring, really connecting with fans, writing those deeply relatable songs.
It all built towards that massive shift from country hopeful to mainstream powerhouse.
So for you, our listener, hopefully this gives you a clearer picture of how those first few chapters really did shape the artist Taylor Swift is today.
Yeah, it wasn't just luck. It was drive, talent, key partnerships, smart decisions, a really deliberate journey.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. Looking back at everything, that early determination, the clear vision she seemed to have, all those experiences, what parts of that initial journey do you think were most vital for her long-term success? The kind of success and relevance she still has today.
It's worth considering. Maybe digging into how her music continued to evolve or how her business sense developed would give even more clues.